what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another vlog. I hope your day is going fantastic wherever you may be. Today I wanted to talk about self-care and kind of what that looks like for myself. I did want to spend some time to show you, but I've been really busy, and so I'm actually really just happy to even talk about it at this point. So I guess what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to explain kind of what self-care means to me, and then also what I do for self-care. And then just in case you're kind of curious on how I kind of maintain myself. So self-care for me means that you remember to think about yourself. I think that's pretty simple explanation for me personally. It's kind of like a constant reminder to do something for you, because we get caught up with having to do a lot of things, work. We have a lot of different responsibilities. We may have people that we have to take care of, other responsibilities. Bills can be stressful sometimes. Of course, work can be stressful too. If you go to school, that can be stressful as well. There's a lot of things that stress us out in life, and it's really important to kind of take a step back every now and then and focus on keeping yourself going, kind of recharging that battery, so to speak. You have the amazing ability to kind of exert a lot of energy to do a lot of different things, and self-care is important to kind of recharge so that you're kind of in top shape, so to speak, whether that be mentally or physically. I have to remind myself to do things for me, because when I get really busy, I just want to kind of complete it, get it done, but my body knows when enough is kind of enough. And that was kind of what my vlog was about last week on why I'm tired. It kind of reigns true that a lot of the times we just do a lot of what we have to, and for me right now, school and work are the top priorities, and I kind of just have to get this stuff done. So self-care for me comes in a few different ways. One is video games. That's kind of one of the easiest ways in which I kind of disconnect all that's going on up here, and I just kind of have fun. Video games for me have always been a way to kind of disconnect from what's going on currently. I started out with a Game Boy Color, and that was kind of a way for me to like reward myself. Well, not reward myself, but how I was kind of rewarded for getting what I needed to do done. I was able to play my Game Boy after I finished my homework. And after that, I got a PlayStation, so then I was able to play my PlayStation after doing my homework, and it was a way to kind of reward myself. And that's kind of how I still think about it as well, especially with video games. It's like I get stressed out. Video games help me disconnect because they don't have any they don't kind of carry over into completing something. It's just like you just play, and that's that. So that's kind of one reason why I kind of like playing video games. I really enjoy being able to disconnect, just kind of have fun with something, and video games is one way to do that. Another thing that I do is draw, of course, or paint sometimes. Painting is a whole process, and sometimes when I'm really stressed out, I don't really want to paint either. It's because, like I said, it's a whole process. Like, you got to get everything out. You got to get all your paints ready. And when I'm tired and just stressed out, I'd rather play video games, honestly. This is just one example of a simple, fun drawing that I've done. no real thought behind it, just kind of made some swirls and it was relaxing. A few years ago, everybody got into the adult coloring books, and so I was kind of already doing that for myself, not with coloring books, but just doing drawings like this, just to kind of de-stress, just making lines. I didn't put a lot of thought into it, I just did it. And don't get me wrong, I do love painting. It does also de-stress me, but I kind of have to have all this stuff ready. And like I said, sometimes I just need a little bit of motivation to actually break everything out, and really dedicate a good chunk of time to do it. And sometimes it's more realistic, sometimes it's not. So I think that's a piece of advice. If I were to give you some advice, if you're watching this now and you're like, what should I do for kind of self-care? It has to be something that you enjoy. It has to be something that doesn't feel like work. And I would say it doesn't have to be completely thought out, completely planned. It could be something super simple. It could be something like rewarding yourself by going and get froyo if that's not something that you do very often. It's something small. You could buy like a $3 to $5 froyo, and there you go, you've rewarded yourself. It could be going for a walk. Honestly, that's pretty relaxing, getting out in nature and just being out there. That's a possibility too. Self-care can look like the gym as well. I talked about it in one of my blogs. If you want to check it out, link will be in the description below. But I've had a struggle sometimes with going to the gym, but it is another way to take care of yourself. It is a self-care practice. The working out kind of creates a self-discipline, which is a huge positive. It helps you work out some issues. You're physically moving your body in different ways, and that can definitely work out a lot of negative energy that you might be carrying with you. And running is good too. I don't run enough. I wish I did sometimes, but I also need to acknowledge too that there are reasons why I'm physically tired as well, and I need to address those before I can overexert myself, because then I'm not technically helping myself take care, because if I'm just wearing myself out even more, then I'm less inclined to actually do more. So once you get a hang of it, it is totally something that will just kind of change your energy, your productivity, you'll see all of these different types of changes. Another little small thing that self-care can do is just watching a movie. That's something that's a possibility, whether that be at home or going out to a movie, that's a possibility. Or it could be sitting down watching your favorite show for an hour or so, or if it's a 20-minute show, watching 2 episodes if possible of your favorite show. Self-care can honestly be any kind of task that just makes you kind of happy. And I guess the common goal too is just to remember to recharge those batteries. So I think that's kind of what I wanted to share with you about self-care. My brief update, I guess, on grad school. Well, we're moving on to week 6, and I would say I have had a little struggle here. This last week we had my first essay back in school due, and the biggest problem that I had, it wasn't with the content, it wasn't with the essay, it was mentally. I just, every time I kind of started to write, I just couldn't put any more words on to the paper, and I don't know, it felt like partially like I was doubting whether or not I should still pursue school. Like, it was this much doubt, but a lot of just telling myself, like, I could probably do this later. Like, I'm not in a good mental state, I guess, right now to write a paper. And it just wasn't true. Like, everything in me, I guess wanted to make excuses on to not do the task at hand. So it was a whole weekend of me struggling to motivate myself. And the reason why I bring this up is I want to be honest. I want to be open about my experiences. And this is just my experience. I just had a hard time. I think overall, like, the essay that I wrote was pretty good for my first essay back after, 4 years of not being in school, not writing in that academic sort of way. And so I think that definitely played into it. But I tried not to overthink, and that's kind of how I pursued and persisted. I told myself, look, I just need to sit down and I just need to do it. So it definitely helped that I carved away a few hours at a time, just sitting down, doing my research, connecting my research to what I was writing about, pulling all that information together so that at the very last day I was able to read through my essay and it felt like a complete project, and I was pretty happy with that. Previously, how I used to go through schoolwork is I used to be a pretty big procrastinator, and I think for grad school overall I have definitely moved past that. And the way I see it, the reason why I say that now is because in my undergrad experience, I would have put this essay off until the last day or the day of it being due. And this time I was able to start working on it a week in advance. I was writing at least 5 days ahead of it being due. I was putting down some thoughts, I was outlining things, and I had already done a few points of research. So it was over the span of a few days, I was able to make huge strides compared to how I used to just kind of cram it all together and push out a product, and it was done, but maybe I wasn't completely happy with it. And so I think that's one of the other reasons why I struggled specifically this week, because I was also in my head, or my head was saying like you got time, you can do it, you can pull it out of the last day. And I think this time around I just didn't want to do that, so I was combating my two selves, my two different sides, my procrastinator side, which is very, very strong, and then my non-procrastinator side, which is new, but is also very, is something that I'm really working on. That's kind of what my experience was for this week, and kind of what I wanted to talk about, highlighting self-care, because in the middle of all that essay writing as well, it's like I had to remember too that I'm tired. I've had a long work week. I've also had a lot of other things to work on for school, and physically I was tired too. So yeah, it's like combating all of that. That's why I didn't get to kind of do my self-care routine, because my self-care for last weekend was very relaxed. I really just didn't do anything. Part of my self-care is maybe I just need to watch a show. And so that last weekend, that whole time was if I wasn't working on school stuff, I was just watching a show. And that wasn't really exciting for me. So even though I set out a goal to show you what self-care looks like, and I wasn't able to do it, I did have something else to talk about, and it kind of made it better for me to talk to you all today about what that experience was like. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you for taking a few moments out of your busy schedule to listen to me talk about my experiences in this new segment for me. Thank you for letting me share with you today, and I really appreciate you for that. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.